at
That's
7:01 p.m. We have citizens communication. The commission welcomes comment on the Parks and Recreation items. Public comment that is made on an item that is not in the published agenda will only be heard by the commission. No form action, discussion, or comment will be made. Each person providing public comment will be limited to 3 minutes and will be asked to state his or her name and address for the public record. Do you have any public comment?
We had no comment ahead of time.
Okay.
I think everyone here is artists.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
All right. Three, approval of the minutes. So has everyone had a chance to look at the minutes? I have a motion to approve the minutes.
A motion to approve minutes.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Everybody in favor of approving the minutes? Say
Aye.
aye. Aye. All right. So motion carries. Minutes are approved. All right. And then, so we are going to skip ahead to 5B and do discuss and consider action to approve the installation of trail pavement murals at Lake Pflugerville.
Good evening.
Yes,
We have a few art proposals for you tonight for consideration, and a few of the artists are here tonight. So if you have any questions for them, they'll be able to respond. But all in all, we are really excited about presenting these items to you tonight for consideration. Okay. So the first one is for trail pavement art at Lake Pflugerville. We have been working with the local artist, Danae Klingspor, to design concepts for pavement murals.
Shoot the space.
Pavement murals at Lake Pflugerville with the theme of inspirational phrases or quotes and interactive art. So this first one is an inspirational phrase related to perseverance. The colors represent or are to mimic the sunset at the end of the day when the stars begin to come back out. So with that particular concept, we are thinking about location number 1. So it's the first pavement section at the beginning or the start of the trail.
So Lake Pflugerville's mostly DG, but there are spots that there's drainage, so those are concrete. So you're limited to where it's going to go. You can't go on the DG, so they're limited in their spots.
Okay.
Quick question. So, and this might just be just like a general question with the paint on the concrete parts. Is there like any concern about like wear and tear from the DG, like, you know, on the paint or anything?
Absolutely. I think that wear and tear will occur over time. I think we estimate that it would last maybe about 5 years. But that's just really for the acrylic paint in general, murals in general, from a fading perspective.
Okay.
But we do anticipate placing a clear coat that has an anti-slip quality to it on top of it to help protect it as well. So the next one is location number 2. It's the next concrete location, and this is for interactive art. It's to encourage people in play. It's a koi fish pond with lily pads, and it's to encourage hopping from one pad to the other to get across the section.
Cute.
And we do anticipate the crushed granite to be on the trail and on the art from time to time.
So as somebody who bikes through there a lot, is it a good idea to encourage people to stop and loiter in the middle of the trail?
Hopefully they're hopping quickly.
They won't.
They won't?
Trust me.
Okay.
It's a great question.
I mean, maybe there'd be some value in putting up a sign around there just to remind people to keep to the right if there's bikes coming by.
Or just,
I don't think there's signs currently about that, but.
well,
Slow hoppers across.
It's crossing.
Hop quickly.
That's pretty cute.
We could probably
quickly?
Yeah.
we could probably do a whole bike etiquette campaign out there, to be quite honest. Yeah.
And you said that there was going to be a clear coat on there. I'm guessing that the clear coat wouldn't be an issue if it gets wet, it being like slippery or anything.
Right, so we are testing out a couple of products right now.
Okay.
We want to make sure that it is fairly gritty.
Okay. I just imagine me running on that and slipping.
Yeah.
Which would be kind of funny because it's water.
We'll make the lily pads.
But I mean,
grittier.
there's concrete everywhere and there's paint and people don't slip. So I can imagine y'all are looking into that to make sure that's not a concern. Yeah. Cool designs. I like the interactive play. I know that there's safety concerns with it, but you know, I think it's fun to.
Honestly, it's no worse than people's general spatial
Mhm.
awareness.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's leave it at that, or lack thereof.
Maybe instead of a bell, you should get like a horn.
I ring my bell when I'm a distance away because they invariably stop and turn around.
Well, this is a discuss and consider item, because we moved it up, so y'all will, we will be looking for a motion if y'all have any other discussion.
Oh, that's it, that's it, that's all.
Yep, all the
Oh,
products.
great.
Those are
There's a couple
variations.
different art variations, this is specifically this first.
I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like them.
Just I worry about the wear and tear, and then it might, you know, I less with the actual imagery. With the words, it would just be kind of unfortunate if it did wear tear a little bit quicker, just because then it becomes unreadable. With the image, I mean, even if it has a little bit of wear and tear, it fades a little bit. You can kind of get at what it's getting at. So that's my only thoughts on like the more like word based one, but.
I think if it
still, I
were
think it's
quicker for the words, it would provide us the opportunity to continue to
Oh,
provide
yeah,
more
change it up.
inspirational.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
And see, with that one, we're encouraging them to look up.
There you go.
So that's bad.
That's bad again.
Put another sign for that one. Yeah.
On one, we want them to look down.
We'll have some art further down. Maybe we can free ice cream ahead or something. Maybe they'll go faster to it.
Yeah, I really like the koi pond one. That's cool.
So do I have a motion to, a motion to
Accept as presented.
accept as presented?
I have a motion to accept as presented.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, so motion passes. All right, 5C, discuss and consider action to approve the installation of the mural at the Railroad Avenue underpass and trail crossing near Gilliland Creek Park.
Did you want to introduce Last Arts at all, or no?
Oh, this is Danae Klingspor.
Yours passed. Congrats.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
They came all out here. I just wanted to make sure.
So the next proposal is for the railroad underpass trail crossing. It's right by that of Gilliland Creek Park. The dimensions are 64 feet in length, and it's about 8 to 10 feet in height, depending where you are along that extent. And it also includes what I'm going to call these little wing walls. So we have been working with the artist couple, Sarah and Topher Mack out of Bertram, Texas, to come up with some design concepts for this location with the theme of personification of aquatic life and animals that enjoy our creek. So you actually get 2 items tonight. This might be a very lively discussion.
I get
It's
to
encouraged.
choose a decision on this one.
Decision on which one
Coming
you
to a
prefer.
consensus.
The 4 of us.
We're
Making
very
all the
interested.
decisions.
Pace the
Okay,
show.
pace yourself. This is the first one.
Oh, that's cute.
Oh, this is the walls, not I was thinking those in order.
Here's the other part of the extension in case you want to see a zoomed in version.
That's cute.
Yeah.
This is option 1. Option 2.
Well, first, I just want to say I think it's really exciting to have chosen this location because I actually walk by it pretty often, and it's not very.
No, there's a lot that can be improved.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like both of them.
Yeah.
Maybe the first one a little bit better. I don't know,
So I
but I'm good with both.
So all the aquatic creatures are in the creek? Like those are all present there? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
It's fun.
Okay.
They're all based on like native Texas
Yeah.
creek, like freshwater creatures.
Is there a possibility to like label them so people can
Yeah,
kind of like, know what they are and
they can have like name tags or something
Sid-
fun. you
That would be
know?
super
Sid the
cute.
shrimp
That would
or
be super
whatever.
cute,
yeah,
yeah.
just so you can kind of know,
Yeah.
why they're there.
Definitely.
Does
I
one,
personally like the second one a lot.
I like the second one too.
I like
Does-
the color scheme.
Does one have more species than the other? Does the first one have more than the second?
So they're a little different. So the first one has only like underwater. The second one does have like the ducks and the
Okay.
frog because you can see like above the water and below the water.
Okay.
So yeah, it's kind of a toss up.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I guess the first one maybe has like more characters in it, maybe by a few, but
Yeah.
it depends on if you want that above the ground scene or not, or above the water.
So the photo you showed multiple instances of graffiti that had been painted over.
Yes.
What's the plan when this gets graffitied?
No, we're not. It's not going to be graffiti.
Yeah.
It's going to have anti-graffiti
Notice I
coating
said
on
when.
it, so that it can be wiped off.
Okay,
Perfect.
all right. Is that a thing? That's a thing?
Anti-graffiti
Okay.
coating. Mhm.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I
they
didn't
do
know
that.
that's a
They
thing.
do that at schools now too.
Oh, that's
Schools-
nice.
Yeah, we do in
Okay.
Wilson have that.
Yep, that's a requirement.
Okay, so when it's plain old paint, you just paint over
And
it.
a lot of time with
But
graffiti,
it's-
they
it's
want
okay.
their tag to be seen, so they're less likely to tag something that's got a lot of
Interesting.
color or anything behind it, because then you can't see their tag.
Okay. All right, thank you. That was an answer I didn't know existed, so great.
And this might be a slightly, it could be a dumb question, I'm just gonna ask it. So that area was underwater pretty often when there's flooding, so is there any concern about, what that might look like, or if there's anti-graffiti coating, then I'm assuming it'd be very easy to clean and, it would just kind of suck if after the first flood, it kind of starts to look even more like an underwater scene.
It's like a museum.
So I don't know
for
if
the
that's really of
actual-
any concern, but that's my only concern with like this location is that it's underwater a lot.
I don't know, Junior, the paint holds up pretty well from.
Yeah.
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 It actually covers the steel pretty well too.
I mean, we might have to
Prevents
clean it
rust a little.
once in a while,
Oh, okay.
but yeah,
Okay.
All right.
we're ready for the challenge.
Just asking a question, just in case.
Yeah, ask me if they've ever done one or had any. Have y'all had any concerns with that?
Are we?
No, the paint that we use is commercial grade. It's extremely durable. Plus, the surface prep is going to be very meticulous as far as like cleaning and degreasing and priming. And then along with the sealer, it should handle being submerged for a reasonable amount of time just fine. Like if it was underwater all the time, then we'd be using a different product. But just intermittent flooding, I think the worst thing is probably going to be either mechanical damage, with debris, and there's really not much you can do about that, but it's durable enough where it's going to handle some pretty serious abuse. And then just water lines, from when it recedes and stuff, and with the anti-graffiti coating, you could just go in and scrub it off or pressure wash it, and it should come right off. So.
We do A and B.
Yeah.
Maybe have the artist explain both one more time?
Yeah.
Okay, so there are a couple things that so this Jeep, the tire on the back, there is an actual hole in the wall. So that was one thing that this is the tire, and actually the other one also has a tire too. And then this one is mainly just the underwater scene. It has different critters. It has the crawfish. It has water bugs. It has a few different types of fish. The other one also has that, but includes the ducks and butterflies, bees, frog. So main difference is just the scene. You have one that's more trail, I guess. This is kind of more they're on the trail. The other one, they're lined up at a food truck, and they're at the park. So it's just
I'm trying to put
personal preference, I guess.
trying to put myself in the mind of a kid, which doesn't work very well.
I thought you would say it does work well.
I would think a kid would like more characters to look at.
I mean,
So that-
yeah, my kids would like that one or the other one because it has a school bus and the vehicles in it. They would also really enjoy, and the animals. I think either of them would go over, at least with small-ish kids. Mine, they would go. Either of them would go over very well.
Well, I guess we better pick one.
Well,
Yeah.
one last thought or comment, just because I think it's really, really cool that this is depicting like things that are in like actually in that ecosystem, and I feel like that's gonna get missed by a lot of people. I think it'd be really cool, just maybe not within this art installation, but just in general, if there was some kind of plaque or a sign
QR code,
or
something like that.
yeah, just something that where people could like, really understand that it's almost like a learning opportunity as well. Because that makes me so much more excited about this mural than I probably would have been if I just walked by. I'd be like, oh, that's cute. But I really like it because it is representing that ecosystem.
Yeah, there is like another, wall on the other side that, doesn't have the trail by it, but it has the creek by it. On the other side of the underpass.
Yeah.
Which, that could be a possible wall later in the future to like, maybe each character and like explain like have the fish name or whatever. And, kind of match each one to the mural,
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
possibly.
I like that.
Maybe just a future one. But I think that's what's really cool about these murals. It might get missed. I mean, I'll do I like number 2 just for aesthetic reasons.
So y'all can take a motion for one. If it ties or fails,
Okay.
then we'll go to 2, and if it passes, then you'll go with the first motion.
Okay, that makes sense.
So it's up to whoever wants to suggest it first at this
I already
point.
made all the motions.
I'll set a motion to accept the second one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
All right, so motion to accept the second mural for,
So let's show them.
So,
Yeah.
You'd be voting for this one.
Correct.
yes.
And we're looking for 3 on this,
Yeah,
or we'll go to the other for a vote, see what happens there.
I mean, I'm good with this too. So everybody in favor say aye. Or,
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, aye. All right. So motion passes. The second mural will be put under Gillian Creek underpass. 5D is discuss and consider action to approve the installation of a mosaic art on low seating walls at Wobarger Creek Park.
Great. So this next proposal is for mosaic art, and these are the low seating walls that we speak of tonight. There are 3 of them for consideration tonight, 3 design options for 3 locations. The locations are generally about 21, 22 feet in length, 17 inches in height, and 16 inches in width. We have been working with the artist, Michael Taylor, to design these concepts.
Hi guys. So I didn't know where to sit. Maybe I'll
Yeah, there you go.
come over here.
So all 3 are for consideration tonight at these locations. The first one, actually these are all 3 kind of superimposed on what a low seating wall would look like. And there is the theme or the inspiration behind the mosaic art. It's really just to celebrate that of different types of nature scenes. There is one, it's a coastal scene. The 2 squares on the side, those are the end caps. It'll have, actually all 3 of them will have very intricate designs. So very detailed work. This is the back side. There is a pond scene. Also very intricate design. Backside. And this sort of desert oasis.
And the proposal is 1 for each.
Say it again.
Is the proposal 1 for each?
Yeah.
Yep. And the artist is here if you have questions.
So again, are all the plants in the last two, are they all native?
They're native, yeah.
Okay.
Which I really like your idea about maybe making some sort of a sign that has that. That actually is brilliant. Would you mind if it was off to the side, like in its own little,
Yeah, we could do that.
maybe just something that we can put in the ground or something? Yeah.
Little QR code or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Because that is nice. I don't really think it'd go well in the mosaic.
Yeah.
It's very realistic. But I mean, we might be able to do something like that. Maybe put it on the side. I can do photo transfers as well. So I can actually take script and burn it onto a tile, so everything can just be in
That's
script
cool.
on the tile and maybe on the side.
That's really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I guess my question is, at some point, Shane had pointed out to us the residue from the skateboards
Yeah, I was
and
gonna
all
ask
that.
I was just gonna
Yeah.
ask.
So
This is anti-skateboard.
yeah, definitely. I would say
Yeah.
I would say the same. Yeah. So anyone that's gone out there, you can see that there are areas. Now it's tough to skateboard on completely because they do have some of a runway. If you look on the photo on the right, they have a bit of a runway, but they do have to jump up and get to the seating area pretty quick because they can't go into the bricks. Don't lead itself to a lot of skateboarding, so they want to run up and get on there and slide over. We could also just, I mean, I think the mosaic pieces would definitely prevent it. I think we could put a couple of those in the park system. We put a couple of those. Yeah, we put a couple of those wire stamp things into it, and it prevents any skateboard from sliding for a long period too.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good idea, anything to help, but I mean, really, I just don't think that, I've never had a problem with people like vandalizing
Right.
or skateboarding on something. Usually people pretty much respect the art that's there.
Yeah.
Even like spray paint and things like that, it just doesn't really happen.
And it wouldn't be an easy surface to skateboard on. I
It
would
would
imagine.
not,
Right.
yeah,
So
I mean,
they wouldn't find that very.
They would do a
appealing,
different
yeah.
bench. They wouldn't do that bench.
Right.
You know what I mean? They would go to one of the ones that isn't mosaic.
Yep.
But yeah, and it's just it's not as smooth as something. So when they put that wax down, they want the smoothest
Yeah.
possible.
They want to go as long as
Glide,
possible.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't want to hit an edge or something
Right.
like that. Yeah.
Is that diagonal edge gonna be?
No, it's
Okay.
it's nice and fat. It's like an inch and a half, I think.
Okay.
And
So
yeah,
that-
it's
that would
good.
take-
The
that would-
transition's gonna be smooth.
Okay, so that would take the brunt of the skateboarding anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be that transition's gonna be really smooth.
You know, I have a itty bitty, and we go to this park a lot. And one thing that they like to do is climb on it and walk on it.
Yeah.
So a question I would have is, if it gets wet, is it slippery?
We can it would be like your shower, kind of. But with the grout joints and stuff like that, it's almost like a sandiness in between
Yeah.
your tiles, so you have grip.
So
It's
you wouldn't
not-
have any like big pieces of tile. They're pretty much all going to be the smaller.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's going to be plenty of grout joint in between every little piece of tile. So the thing is like you would be afraid of slipping on a tile that's like this big,
Yeah.
like a 12-inch, something like that. That's going to be kind of slippery. But to have so much gradiness is actually going to have more grip than like the sidewalk. You know what I mean? Like some of those sidewalks can get pretty slick.
Yeah.
But like when you've got a grout joint in between every little piece, it's almost like having cleats on or something. You know, it's almost going to have more grip.
I really love the colors and the feeling of this one. The only like thought that I have on it is maybe doesn't feel exactly like Texas to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like it would be kind of cool if it was just, and this is just a suggestion. I mean, I would vote yes for that. I think it's beautiful. But if it like maybe it was just like some of the landscaping just felt a little bit more like a Texas coast, that would be
Yeah.
kind of cool.
Yeah.
I feel like this feels a little more like the East Coast to me with the lighthouse and everything. But I love the color
all
scheme of this one. It's gorgeous.
images are interchangeable. So we could take out that I kind of feel you on the lighthouse. We were just trying to get something related to like how we celebrate water and nature, and these are just kind of some of the things that you do and see around nature. But yeah, I mean, those side panels, you can definitely put something in there that's more native. I wasn't sure like what would actually say something, maybe a water tower, or maybe like, is there like a
Stand-up
a
paddle
famous-
connects, that,
Yeah,
that kind
I
of
agree.
connects, that looks very Texan or
Yeah.
Lake Austin or whatever,
Yeah.
the stand-up paddle part does.
Yeah, I concur.
Maybe some trees and
Yeah.
some stuff on the rocks instead, maybe, just
Yeah,
looks
or
like
is
it's
there
fun.
like, see that's kind of like a cityscape on the right hand side there, lower right hand side. Maybe there's something that more screams Pflugerville or Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, because we have Lake Pflugerville,
Mhm.
so maybe this can be more of like a Lake Pflugerville inspired thing. And I know we can't see the tower from there, but maybe the tower can be on there. And
Yeah, okay. So the
Yeah.
lighthouse
You know.
immediately makes it ocean.
Yeah.
You remove the
Well,
lighthouse and it's
Yeah, and there-
body of
And
water.
then it's Lake Pflugerville.
It's body of water.
I,
Oh,
I,
okay. Oh,
that
that's a
can
good-
definitely
that's-
be changed. It's all
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that can turn into a water tower.
None of those other things are specifically, I mean, it does look
Yeah.
oceany, but it's
Yeah.
I
not.
mean, yeah.
Yeah.
It could be lakey if you
Yeah.
wanted. Yeah.
But I love the color scheme, though. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, I like it.
Really, I just wanted something very bright, colorful, catching to the eye, something that's going to draw, kids as they're playing, something that's going to be really bright and pretty for their eyes, and kind of just make them think about the things that.
It's interesting if they'll be less likely to climb it, more likely to like stare at it and kind of.
Yeah, parents might be more like, "Oh, climb on that," it's
It was
great.
just a block, so they jumped on it, but now it's like,
Yeah, you can touch it, feel it.
Yeah.
It's very like textural.
Simple solution to make it more local, add grackles.
or bats.
Yeah.
Instead of seagulls, it could be bats, which is very.
Oh,
like,
that's a great
ominous.
idea. Yeah, we've
Yeah.
got bats in one of the other ones, but yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I mean,
what
we're
I-
not Austin, but we've got bats.
And none of this
They
is
come
set
here
in
too.
stone right now, so if there's anything that we can do to make it look more like Texas, I really do like the bat idea. That could be changed before we actually install it.
color scheme's really nice though.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, it's gorgeous. I like how they're all so different. It's still cohesive.
And I think y'all can just make a motion that's at artist's discretion, like y'all did with the bench, and I'll update you on the bench. Some things have changed with the bench, so we don't have to bring it back. Y'all have given some feedback, and he can work with Aaron, and they can implement.
That's a super easy thing to change, yeah. What do you guys think about the rest of them?
I love this one. This one's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
And that one feels very, very, very Texas.
Yeah.
I
And
feel
then
like
they'll-
it's gonna be cool for them to like kind of look down and see this water scene,
Yeah.
And it's cool too, because like if you change that to be a little bit more like kind of like water feature based, and then this is like deserty, which we have in Texas, and then you have the beautiful green, like
Mhm.
nature,
Yeah.
which is another part of Texas. It's like almost like the three different types of.
This is what I was
ecosystems.
going for, yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
have a snake in the desert?
Say it
Do
again?
you have a snake in the desert?
I was gonna put a snake,
Scorpion.
I
I'm
just,
sorry. It's a snake.
I got some negative feedback.
Snakes too.
And I wasn't sure about that. I was like, maybe snake's not a good idea, but I
You
wanted to
want a
put a snake. So
I think a snake would be a good idea.
I agree.
can put a
I agree.
snake
I think we should have a snake.
right
Yeah.
there. See where that duck?
You do like a copperhead or something, you know?
Yeah.
Where the
Copperheads
ducks
are
at?
pretty.
You see the duck, like with the duck on the left-hand side here on the bottom.
Let's see if I get
That can
that.
just as be
a
just as well be
rattlesnake.
Yeah, kids will love it.
Cute little snake.
Yes,
Mhm.
a rattlesnake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there's the storm.
Oh.
Might as
My
well
poor
just sit here and
dog.
talk now.
It's a coming.
It's coming.
Okay, so y'all seen all three. You're accepting them in one motion. You do have the right to give specific feedback, like snake instead of duck, or at the discretion
I'm
of the
writing all
artist.
this down.
Right.
I mean, if you guys feel strongly about this,
I'll write it down too.
I'll know if you listen
I
to
think
the
we should
comments, 'cause I do
have
go to
snake,
this
for
park a lot.
No, I mean, yeah. All of this is super easy to.
But that's what y'all did with the last one, was at artist discretion at some level
All
still.
right, I move that we accept them with artist and staff discretion.
Okay.
Yeah, second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries.
Awesome. Whoever's been approved, if you want to beat whatever rain's still out there, you're free to go. Yeah.
Beautiful work,
It's
y'all.
gonna
Thank
be a long
you.
meeting.
It's
Yeah,
exciting.
thank you.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Sure.
All three places I go, awesome.
And here's the last one. Is the artist here? No?
All right,
Oh, that's the one that's, yeah.
5E, discuss and consider action to approve the purchase and installation of sculptures Popsicle, Pac-Man, and Pebble at Lake Pflugerville.
Popsicles.
Yeah, so we did a national call for art recently, within the past couple of months, for sculptures to be located at city facilities or parks. And what we had found through that call is that these particular sculptures would be really great at Lake Pflugerville. So it was more of a situation of, we like this, we see where it could go, let's go ahead and take it forward to consideration for the Parks and Recreation Commission. So, we have popsicles.
That's cute.
I love that.
We are thinking about popsicles being really great on the north side of the lake. Maybe I'll kind of go back. On the north side of the lake, right by the beach, that can be kind of seen. I think I actually have another picture too, where you can kind of see
Yeah.
generally where it could be located and how it can be viewed.
That's a great location.
great
It's right
location.
next, it's right next to where lots of people are, but that area is not very well.
Yeah,
used.
it's not,
Sounds like-
I think
Unless the
it's gonna
beach
get a lot of
gets really
view.
crowded, Yeah.
Yeah. So it's approximately 8 feet in height, 5 feet in width, constructed with a steel frame and masonry backer board.
We thought it wasn't available when I was first interested in it, Aaron was like, oh, that was not available.
It's not. It's actually being made for us.
Yeah.
So is,
Super cool. I mean, is there any, because kids are going to want to climb on it. Is
Yeah.
that any concern or is that kind of expected that it's going to be interactive in that way or?
I think that in terms of potentially having sculptures damaged by kids climbing on it and stuff like that, I think we can kind of go back and forth on it and realize I think all sculptures are going to have that susceptibility to damage. I'm going to call them the popsicle sticks. Those are the ones that I think could be at most risk of being damaged. However, they are masonry. I think they're masonry siding board.
Oh, okay, Hardy Backer.
Yeah.
And we have a lake manager that we're interviewing for this week. That'll be here by summer. We'll have a lake coordinator working under that lake manager. We have one park ranger on duty right now. We'll have another coming on as well. So we'll have some staff, and it's obviously a pretty open area. People are pretty vigilant with stuff like that. Most people don't want to see destruction of, if someone's messing around with it, they'd probably say, hey, cut it out. So.
Sure.
And for all of these pieces, because it is the same artist, they haven't had any issues with these particular installations.
Very cool.
Maintenance, repaint every 10 years, maybe 10 years, something like that, but basic acrylic paint would be fine. It's mounted on a concrete pad, and it's approximately 1,000 pounds.
where does that location stand with the plans for the next few years for that area?
Beach expansion, so you can't really see it, but you can see where the star is. Beach expansion goes away from the star. So it'll expand on
Right,
the other
yeah, I
side.
know the beach is expanding the other opposite,
Yeah.
so is there anything else planned for that area right there?
Hardscapes are back, behind that where the word popsicle is and restrooms
Right.
are happening over there. Nothing has happened on that little peninsula
Okay.
as far as development.
I couldn't remember.
The next one is Pac-Man. This is the inspiration behind Pac-Man.
Very cool.
It's approximately 8 feet in height, 7 feet in width. It's obviously made out of rocks. They're all pre-drilled and test assembled prior to delivery. So they're actually, Pac-Man will be fabricated on site. Makes it easier for delivery and installation. It's also mounted on a concrete pad, has a pretty unlimited lifespan, and it's about 1,500 pounds in weight.
Oh, the walking stick is steel.
It's another Instagram opportunity.
There you go. We're gonna get you.
A lot of people are going to take photos with that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so Pac-Man is proposed at kind of generally at the beginning of the trail on the south side. Where the
Is that
trails are.
close to that art
The
area?
south side of the dam, yeah, just right at the south.
Art?
The
The
that was on
painted-
the
Yeah,
painted
painted,
part.
yes.
No.
Yeah.
It's actually it's further east.
Oh, it's further east. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are.
This
Over there.
was,
Oh, okay.
This was the closest location that we could get Pac-Man to the beginning of the trail without any sort of grade issues.
Because the
So I
dam
know
goes
why you,
pretty
I know
tall
why you
really
keep
quick.
calling that the beginning of the trail.
Oh.
But I think
it's-
most people
is
would
it
think
the
of.
north?
Well, no, I mean, before the north part existed, I'm sure, yeah, we considered that the beginning of the trail. That's interesting.
The
Yeah.
Keystone or whatever starts right at that spot
Yeah,
there
right.
where they dedicated the space or whatever. Yeah.
And Pac-Man needs a loyal
Yeah.
friend,
That's
Pebble. And Pebble would be proposed to be installed on the same concrete pad, same type of assembly. The artist recommends a shorter tail if we believe that there's going to be a lot of interaction with it.
There's going to be a lot of interaction.
So we'll probably do a shorter tail.
We'll probably put a leash on it. No,
And,
no dogs off
uh,
leash.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Pebble is about 3.5 feet in height and 4 feet in length.
I mean, the only thing, I mean, it's probably gonna be assembled very, very strong, but more than the tail, not that people would want to rip off the ear, but I want to pet it. Like just looking at the picture, I want to like pet it, and I feel like people are gonna want to like touch around there. So, just making sure that's considered.
It'll
so
be
that we
interesting to see
don't-
how it wears over
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, I feel like you're gonna get some grease spots there where people have like touched its head a bunch.
Might be some dogs marking a
I know.
Absolutely.
Super cute. I love that.
Unlimited lifespan. Cool.
Yeah. Fun.
Well, those are the sculptures proposed at
Yeah.
Lake Pflugerville.
What are you
Sorry,
doing?
sorry. I'm sorry.
Letting you have any more
Didn't know if I
control.
didn't know if I had any more slides.
So it's one motion here, and you're accepting the sculptures and the location.
Do I have a motion to accept the sculptures and location as presented?
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay.
There we go back. While we're going back to the start, we have some mix and candy over there if you want anything. It's Jolly Ranchers trail mix and what?
Spearmint.
Spearmints. Did you
Ooh,
approve
can I have
the
one of
minutes?
those?
Yep, motion to
Yes.
approve. Okay, so we're at,
Sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, so 4A, Director's Update, including information about the project status report and upcoming special events.
okay, so we had Eggpalooza recently. We felt like we were battling that event the whole time. It was originally scheduled at Finnick Park, where we had great success last year. And the weather was creeping up, and we saw it was starting to get bad, and we were even canceling games leading into that week because of how much rain the football fields and soccer fields had taken on. Late that week, we moved from Finnick to 1849 for a couple reasons. One, Finnick was taking on a lot of water, and it just wasn't drying out. And the football field, specifically at 1849 Park, is the tallest patch of grass in our park system. So we were trying to get as high as possible so it would drain as quick as possible. Ultimately, it was a great event. We had about 700 to 1,000 at Finnick last year, and we had well over double that this year. So I think a part of that was the fact that we still had an event when other cities had canceled or turned it into a drive-through. It felt like there was a lot of people that had come from all around the area that were excited that we had an offering for them. We were still able to do the egg hunt. We had the Easter Bunny there. Face painting food trucks. We had a photo station with the family. And Councilman Holiday came out, as she has previously, and helped us send the kids off, which is pretty funny. If you've ever gone to an egg hunt, I mean, we had 5,000 eggs for each flight, and they are not there pretty quickly after you sound the alarm, those kids go.
Yeah, we went and I was like, there's a lot of kids that are way over the age of 3 in this first round.
There were.
Yeah, it was really fun though.
My husband was noting a lot of the 1-year-olds who would not really be that enough into it to pick up a whole basket of eggs. Had a full basket
Yeah,
of eggs.
you can see there's some parents helping, and we tried to discourage that best we could, but
It's gonna happen.
That's why we just have extra eggs, and we hold 500 to 1,000 eggs back each round.
Yeah.
Anytime we see kids that are coming away upset, we just cue them off to the side. We let everyone leave, and we still throw eggs for them. So.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
my daughter, you tell her there's a golden egg and a prize in it, that is what she wants,
she's
and then
looking
by
for.
the time she realizes that she's not getting that, they were all gone.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no one. We try really hard to make sure no one leaves upset. We cue them up and just continue to throw eggs after everyone's left, and hopefully everyone goes away with a basket full. We did the LCRA cleanup last Friday. We had 46 folks, volunteers from the Lower Colorado River Authority. It was a riparian zone cleanup and improvement. Removed a bunch of invasive species along the north and south of Gillen Creek bank, and it was a great project. If you go back there, you definitely see a lot of new clear out along the banks over
Yeah.
there. Upcoming events, we're taking Unplug and Explore to Barton Springs. We're doing yoga in the park again the first Saturday in May. We've got a couple esports tournaments, Mario Kart, and we have board game night and Smash Brothers. 2 concerts coming up, our small stage series that happens in downtown at the stage at the Best Little Plaza, and then Music in the Park series starts this next month as well in Pfluger Park. You can see the photo on the left is our rain gutter regatta. We had kids coming out, parents and kids. See, a dad was in the competition there with the son, and they get to decorate their boats, and they were given straws and with this little rain gutter blow up that they could race in. The wind really, the wind aided you or prevented you at times on that Saturday or on that Sunday. Seniors have a full trip. I have an itinerary plan. They're going to Cafe Java tomorrow, Mexican Bingo next week, Waffle Love. They're doing a do-it-yourself greeting card class. They're going to the Round Rock Express game against the Oklahoma City Dodgers. Going to downtown Dripping Springs, and then the Harry Ransom Center as well. So they're out and about. Earth Day cleanup is this Saturday. It's a celebration of Earth Day. It's our trail cleanup in Pfluger Park. It's 9 to noon. Equipment, snacks, water, all provided. If you're interested or know anybody that's interested, please reach out to us. We'll get them signed up. Slice of Pflugerville's next weekend. It's 11 to 6 p.m. downtown. It is a new festival that we're doing. We've been talking about highlighting the different cultures in our community, and we will have live performances, music, art, food, the works. We're super excited about it. Staff been working really hard. The Passport program, or the Bite of Pflugerville contest, is 10 local restaurants competing, and they'll have a submittal. People pay $10, they'll get this passport, and that $10 will allow them to go to each one of these and try the submittal from each restaurant, and you'll be able to rate them first, second, or third. We'll also have some celebrity judges, i.e. the mayor and the police chief and one of our city managers walking around scoring these as well, giving out prizes, and so we're super excited. And those 10 restaurants are also going to be selling actual food. So they'll have their submittals, but if you want to eat, Casa Garcia's has some street tacos, you can totally also go there as well. So we'll have those, and then we have another 9 or 10.
9.
We have another 9 food trucks as well, not participating in the Bite contest. So we'll have close to 20 food trucks there of all different types of flavors and variety. And then that you can see to the left is the layout, and on the right you can see the stage, the performances. We've got a Texas Dragon Lion Dance team, the Austin Powwow Group. We've got the Highland Elementary Ballet Folklorico Group. Couple different performers, the Grooves and the Selena Forever Tribute Band. We've got some samba dancers, bagpipers, you name it. We're trying to really celebrate all the diverse cultures of our community, so we're super excited about it. It's going to be a plaza stage, a main stage, and then we'll have some roaming performers as well. Also coming up this month, or the next month, is our Fairy Tale Tea Party. I know what you're thinking. I'm definitely going to be there. Come dressed as your favorite character. We'll have many sandwiches, snacks, tea, and crafts. $9.50 for residents, $12 for non-residents. Also, something we want to highlight. Very proud of Timmy and Eddie and their team. We were awarded this year's Governor's Community Achievement Award. That is a partnership with Keep Texas Beautiful and TxDOT. And they give one award out per population class every year. And Eddie's been working on this for 12 years, trying to get this award. And he continues to run cleanups and continues to run planting projects and volunteer cleanups all throughout the community along the creek system. And this year they won. And coming with that award, not only do you get to go to Houston and go to the awards and be honored in the middle of the summer, but each community gets a landscaping project, a grant for a landscape project, and it's per size. So we're the third largest city in this class total, so we get the third largest landscaping project, $270,000 of a landscaping beautification project. Just has to be along state-owned right away. So we still have plenty of that here in Pflugerville, so we're excited to be able to provide that for the community. Mountain Creek Park, it is getting new shade, new playground, new tables and benches, concrete paths will be new. It has a new sign as part of the sign program, and it will get a new water fountain. It's getting a complete redo.
Is that the one on 10th Street over by Wolf Branch?
Yep. So the shade itself, part of that's being paid for by insurance from, which storm was that? Just a rain event, right?
Yeah, it's like a year ago.
Yeah.
I say it.
So TML takes a little time to get that insurance money in, but that kicked off the project. And then, as y'all know, in our CIP we do playground replacements, and Mountain Creek happened to be the next park up. So okay, great. We've already got the sign from the sign replacement program. Junior had bought 5 or 6 water fountains to replace that the park system. So we were like, well, if this place is getting new benches, new shade, new playground, might as well give them a new water fountain. And so it's getting a complete redo. So the people in that area should be super stoked. Our outdoor fitness court, which was paid for by a grant through PCDC,
I've been driving by and I'm like, what is that?
Is. So it's a outdoor fitness space it's got 5 or 6 core zones. It's got 12 or 13 different exercises that you can do, and it's got a back that we were going to use at one time at Pecan Park as a kind of a gateway entrance sign, and then due to some drainage issues with that park and ultimately some improvements that we'll see in the drainage side, we had to find a new location for it. We've worked for the last year with planning and CIP and engineering and everyone to make sure that this is a good spot for drainage, and it's also still along a major corridor. That's along Railroad, so a lot of people are going to see it, especially as downtown east continues to develop. The way the bottom of the 2 court options are shown, it actually is really oriented in that way. So that Bluebonnet backing will face the north side of Railroad for those people coming down south. It's going to be oriented much in that way. And not every city that gets it puts up shade, but we wanted to make sure we protected the product and the people that were on it, and the area around it will get some sidewalk connection points as well. So we're super excited as we continue to develop downtown east, and Gillen Creek Park is obviously getting a redo, and Pfluger Park playground was done just a couple years ago. Now there's this new fitness amenity going towards downtown East Rec Center, and then ultimately going towards Bowls, which was done in the last couple of years as far as the playground replacement, and then up to the rec center, who, after downtown east happens, we'll see what happens with this space as well. So this downtown east central Pflugerville corridor, trail corridor, has a lot of different recreational amenities along the way, which we think is really cool. Plus, some different public art pieces now as well. So, super excited about that. The art bench, they have worked with the artist, and they are going with a silver satin paint, which should be a little bit more heat resistant. And we have been out there at 5 or 6 o'clock, and it actually does get a decent amount of shade out there at that time, and so we're super excited. I think it's going into May. Into May. So we'll see it out there.
So we didn't make slice of Pflugerville.
Huh?
We didn't make slice
No,
of Pflugerville.
no. Some of the other changes just pushed it. Comings and goings. So I talked about our park ranger. Brian is our new park ranger. His wife, 3 kids. It's funny, he was out. He'd working for us for like a month or 3 weeks, and he's out at the egg hunt. And my wife was at the egg hunt volunteering, and he was like, "Hey, I think I know you." She teaches his kid in elementary school in Georgetown. So it turns out my wife's one of his kids' teachers. But Brian is new. He served in the military, has worked in security capacities, was born in Puerto Rico. He's been a great guy to have around the office, and has already started his after action reports, and has already gone out and started to talk to people about dog on a leash. There was a kid that was bit a couple weeks back, and he was Johnny on the spot to help provide first aid and CPR, all the things that were needed, and so he's
what
been
are
great.
the responsibilities of that job?
The park ranger position? They're going to grow, but right now it's a lot of education, just letting people know that there are some rules that over time people just have not had enforced, whether it's sound ordinances or dogs off leash or being on the trail in a motorized vehicle or drinking alcohol in a glass bottle, you name it. Some of the ordinances over time that for years people have potentially been frustrated about have
Right.
called in, but that activity moved pretty quickly and police were never
So
able
is
to
he
get
just,
to it.
spending his days cruising around the park's property?
He's got an electric bike that he cruises on. He's got a vehicle as well when he gets to those locations he can't connect to off the trail system. And he's checking on parks at night, making sure gates and things like that are closed as well. Checking on park facilities in the evening. He's working Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, okay.
And the second one, we'll see if they mirror each other, if they do a full span, and we're trying to get all 7 days a week covered. Although most of our peak use is weekend and nights, so. And then Baze is our business ops supervisor. Baze came to us from the Woodlands. He and his wife have a 1 and 3-year-old. Baze is an Aggie grad, loves the outdoors, fishing, hiking, has been here for 4 days. Yeah. And we're happy to have him aboard. So business ops is over special events and athletics field allocations and food truck permits and 5K permits and things like that. John Molina started this week as well. He's a park ops tech. Came to us from DK Traffic Control in Manor, and Anders Hayden has worked previously for Wilco and City of Cedar Park. He is super happy to work for us. He has told us that 3 times already this week, so we're excited to have him. I don't know what they did to him in Wilco and Cedar Park. We're almost done. And then Jai Reyes worked in construction before. He's been great, part of the team, and has already helped with us on some construction and maintenance projects. He loves fishing and playing with his kids. Promotions, Larry was the business ops supervisor. He is now the parks project manager. He's previously been a director of Parks and Rec for almost 20 years. And that is his grandson, Todd, or I don't know what his name is, Taylor or something. We've been doing, I asked him to send me some photos of projects that I showed earlier, and this is what he sent me. I was like, it's going in. And so obviously he's super excited. And then Tony, Anthony Garcia, he's been with the city for a little over 7 months and was part of the North-South crew. And when Austin left, which we talked about last time, when he went back for an opportunity in Marble Falls, Tony promoted. And Tony's over a lot of our small pocket parks, including, and then Moose and Creekside as well. Also, Caitlin has been with us for almost 4 years. She's been working special events. City manager's office has seen what she's done and seen what we've done with Slice and Deutschenfest, and they want to bring that under city manager's office. It's part of their new initiative, the tourism side of some of these events. Not a lot of people stay overnight for, the egg hunt or, the frozen splash or whatever, but some of these tourism events have opportunities for, or some of our larger city events have opportunities for tourism, and they wanted that under them. She's also going to be working on a couple other initiatives, business development, volunteer recruitment, working with the chamber. So Caitlin, Deutschenfest, Slice of Pflugerville, and the permitting of all of our large special events that come through, like Pride and Juneteenth, when other parties do that and come through the city, all those responsibilities go with Caitlin under city manager's office. So we'll still be working with her. We'll still be providing those parks and those spaces, and she's a one-man show. She's going to need, obviously, park staff, public works staff, police staff to help pull off, but she'll be reporting to the city manager's office starting the 1st of May. And then Ethan had been with us for around a year. Great kid, worked really hard for us, and had a chance to join the cadet school in Hutto, and is hoping to be a police officer out there. So we wish him the best. And that is it.
All right, 4B, discussion regarding pollinators. So
Yeah, it's really
Yes,
cool.
it is. Yes, it's very cool.
Very, very cool.
Wish I had soft
I know.
sound.
I feel like my whole body is
Yeah.
small right now. Teeny.
Just take the space bar.
Yeah.
All right. So we're really excited to be here tonight to talk about the pollinator subcommittee. Last summer, Sheila, our previous assistant director, talked to the commission about Bee City USA, and in August, we had a city employee from the city of Austin who recently became a Bee City USA affiliate come and speak to the commission. Since then, we've taken some time off to think about it, and we think that it would be a really great idea to partner the Bee City USA initiative along with Monarch City USA initiatives to call it a pollinator subcommittee, because both bees and monarchs are pollinators. So are all of these other critters. I did pull some slides from when Jessica from the city of Austin came and spoke to the commission. So I think I'm going to say this right. Yes, Xerxes. Just say it fast, and nobody will know. So I pulled some of the slides from when they came and talked, but all of those slides were denoting pollinators. So again, pollinator subcommittee, but what's the purpose behind it, right? We know globally that up to 40% of pollinator species may be at risk of extinction in the coming years, so both bees and monarchs. What are the reasons for those declines is habitat loss, pesticide use, disease and pathogens, and then climate change. And all of those are things that we can have an impact on within Parks and Recreation. So conservation principles through Bee City USA, again, are all things that we can impact through Parks and Recreation, but it's increasing availability of native flowering species, providing appropriate nesting substrates, finding alternatives to harmful pesticides, and then educating and spreading awareness to the community. I thought this was a really cool picture because it's something, it's really easy to do, doing no mow May or having wildflower meadows, and you can see those all around Pflugerville. So our thought is to have a pollinator subcommittee. The committee would be made up of 2 to 3 commissioners, along with Parks and Recreation staff. And then we have gotten permission from the city secretary's office to have 2 subject matter experts join us. Most of y'all know Sonia, or probably have heard of her. Sonia is a current volunteer within the Parks Department. She runs all things monarch. She is a master naturalist and the brains and power behind our monarch butterfly habitats throughout the city. She has them in her backyard and in various parks. She founded the Monarch Sanctuary Project, which is a 501c3, and they're actually having an event on Earth Day at Lake Pflugerville. So if you go out to the trail cleanup, you can then go out to Lake Pflugerville and enjoy that event. It's from 8 to 12. Thought I would throw her a plug there. But she has
she has said that she would be committed to the pollinator subcommittee and our efforts to seek both the Bee City and Monarch City USA. She would volunteer her time for that. And then also Vicki Blackman, who's a Pflugerville resident, but she's also the co-chair of Austin's Bee City USA initiative. So she's very familiar with Bee City USA and then also has volunteered her time to be on our subcommittee. They will not be voting members, but they can bring their expertise to the table with the commissioners on, and be a working committee to help us gain those affiliations. And so the pollinator subcommittee, in addition to staff and the 2 subject matter experts, we will advocate for pollinators. We will explore commitments and then look at our current operations and how we can align those with those standards and work towards becoming Monarch City and Bee City USA affiliates. So our plan is to make action out of what we want to do. So this would be the actionable subcommittee to work towards those 2 affiliations.
I know we got wonky with the schedule. This is discuss only, but we have put the opportunity for y'all to discuss this or vote on it as a discuss and consider, and we still saved that so we could come back to it. So right now you have the right to discuss the concept of the pollinator subcommittee, any questions that you might have from Kelsey and the hard work she's put into it, or we can just move on to 5A, which is our subcommittee reappointments, right? Yeah.
I love everything about this.
Yeah.
That's my only comment, yeah.
Yeah.
Super excited.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nothing else? Awesome. Okay.
All right, 5A, discuss and consider action on subcommittee appointments.
So we try to do these every year. So you serve a year and you have the right to rerun if you'd like. We take our cues in a lot of ways from council. They do a similar schedule where it's once a year and people can stay on or they can rotate off. Someone else has a chance. And so right now, if we have a pollinator subcommittee, you actually have 3 different subcommittees under this board. You have the Tree Care Advisory Board subcommittee, you have the pollinator subcommittee, and you have the Parks Foundation subcommittee. I think Jennifer and Carol are on all of them right now. So it's really just Jennifer and Carol subcommittees. But, you know, we'd like to do some appointments if you are interested today. Now, you're a little light too today, and it might feel unfair. So we can talk about it, and we can kick it to next time when other people are here. If you have any questions about any of those things, we can try to answer them now. Like I said, Jennifer represents half of most of those committees, so if you had a question, I'm sure she could answer as well. So,
Can you remind me again, the Parks Foundation was trying to get a certain certification, is that correct?
Yeah, so we're trying to create a Parks Foundation so we can get donations from local businesses and stuff to like go towards parks projects and stuff. Mainly tree planting, but we've been recently talking more about like native grasses and different things, which actually fall in line with the pollinators as well, which would be awesome. So,
and these subcommittees don't have to stay. If the Parks Foundation falls off because of pollinator or whatever,
yeah,
we had before you and Stan rotated on, we had a discussion and a more robust discussion and presentation about you're kind of going to be one or the other of a Parks Foundation. You're either going to be more of a boutique one where you're doing a lot of galas and fundraisers, or you're going to be one that is specifically going after larger entities. Yeah, you're not going to try to do a gala as much as you're going to go try to find Lady Bird Johnson to donate funds to, directly to you. The plight of both of those are different. One is a lot more community involved and it promotes more awareness overall, but the fundraising is normally tougher, or it's more incremental. The larger one, you're going after what you hope to be big funds almost from the get-go. The problem with that is those bodies that are granting those funds are usually looking for someone that has handled those funds previously at large amounts and executed on projects, because they don't want to give you $500,000 to see it sit. They want to be able to say in their report to their foundation that we gave to the City of Pflugerville's Parks Foundation and they put in a new park or whatever. And so,
Hold on, do you typically have to write a grant proposal for those things, or?
yes and no. So some of those larger entities, you're reaching out directly to them to find out what those you're moving, I don't wanna say stealth, cause that doesn't sound great in the government world, or, doesn't sound like we're being completely upfront. It's a citizen group that is working directly with a higher end, body with a larger endowment to try to get those funds. Sometimes you're also taking on
That's what I'm
land.
saying.
Yeah,
So you were saying they don't want to give money and have it sit. I assume
Right.
you have to go to them with a proposal.
you do, yeah,
Yeah.
you usually want, you usually want
Yeah.
something that
Okay.
is,
You're not
they're
just,
usually.
you're not just say, hey, give us money for this.
They're looking for
Yeah.
project-ready
Right,
things
okay,
as well.
right, that's fine.
And sometimes they're looking at what you hold on your bank account. Do you have 3 or 4 parcels of property that you're holding for the city, or that you're holding for future development? Do you have $500,000 or $1 million in your bank account right now that you've been granted that you're fixing to act on? So some of those bigger projects. And you almost have to choose one or the other. You almost have to choose if you're going to be a smaller, more community-oriented group, or if you're going to try to go swim in that really big pond.
Well, is it a progression to start out as the smaller community oriented?
I think you probably could.
And get that base?
I think you probably could, but if you had a group of people that were used to galas and fundraisers and 5Ks and everything else, and then you stop doing that.
Right,
Yeah.
right. If the committee were about gals and
Yeah.
fundraisers, I'm out. If it were
Yeah,
about,
right.
If we're about applying for money, maybe.
And luckily, this group
Right.
is not y'all, right? So
Right. I'm
they're a
just-
fundraising arm, y'all are still the
Right.
advisory group.
Right.
And so you're looking for people that want to put on those things. And ultimately, the idea of the Park Foundation Subcommittee was, does this committee want to recommend to council that we need a Parks Foundation? And are we in that process going to recommend which business model? And are you going to recommend $50,000 for the next couple of years so it can get off its ground and start running until, a citizen group can run it?
That's really exciting.
Yeah.
So would a foundation be separate from the city?
It would be. It would run as support of the Parks Department.
Right.
It would probably have a Parks staff member as a liaison, but it would be a citizen group.
Right, okay,
Much
that's
like the
what- yeah, that's
libraries,
what I thought.
Friends of
Okay.
Group or whatever
Okay.
as well. Sometimes helping in areas where a governmental agency can't step in,
Right.
where that's where they can step in. PAWS has one as well.
Right.
If there was a kill shelter type scenario, and PAWS isn't a kill shelter, but, if there's one of those things that they euthanize, but the Friends of Group can
Right.
come in and adopt and then
Right.
see if they can rehome something that, an animal that has a tough time making it or whatever. Those foundations are great for those areas, right? So they're able to run and support and provide a lot of different functions to the department. And library has one, PAWS has one. I've seen other cities where police and fire have different support groups, but our Parks and Rec department does not. Any other questions about the committees? This is a discuss and consider, and you as chair get to say if you want us to talk about a vote, or if you'd like to pull back and hold it till next time. And you can definitely ask them if they agree or not. You have every right to do that.
So what?
You have
what are
discussion
y'all-
opportunity, yeah.
What are y'all thinking?
Is it possible to hold a vote for 2 of them and hold off on one since it's new?
Is it possible to hold a vote for 2 and hold off for one?
Yeah, and hold
You
off
can do
on
it.
one.
You can do whatever y'all want to do. You can vote tonight. You can say 3 of our 4 people aren't here, we're gonna vote in May. You can even say if May, 3 or 4, whoever's here in May is getting voted. Like, you don't have to, you don't need to kick it if you don't want to. You can say, listen, I want to do tree care tonight, pollinators and parks can wait a month. Y'all have a right to do whatever you want to do.
So if someone who isn't here was interested in one of the subcommittees, they wouldn't be able to.
You can vote 2 tonight, and y'all have up to 3, as long as you don't have a quorum. So a 4th person couldn't be on there, because then you'd have to be posting about your meetings, but if you had less. So you could vote 2 on there tonight.
So,
I'm just saying if someone isn't here, they won't be able to be considered for it, and there probably wouldn't be another vote anytime soon about
If you
that.
voted 2 on, then the next meeting, y'all
There'd
could
be
vote
one
to
more
have a
spot.
3rd spot.
right.
Oh, so it's almost like a race, like we're here
Yeah.
first.
You
so
could,
we
right?
can,
You
I'm just
can
kidding.
do anything you want. Yep.
Yeah, there are.
Because
a lot
I'm
of
very
people
interested
not
in the
here.
Parks Foundation one, but I'd be down to wait for the next one to hear if more
So-
people are interested.
When you asked that question about voting on 2 and waiting on 1, were you thinking, well, Carol and I just want to continue with what we're already doing and we're not sure about the others?
No, not at all. My thought was the pollinator one, since it's new, I don't know who would be interested, and since we are missing so many members.
Okay.
But I thought I had maybe a better idea of the other 2, so I didn't think that maybe anybody would be missing out. if we
Okay,
did those
so-
two, but I
okay,
don't know
that-
for
that's-
sure.
That's roughly an answer to the question I asked, okay. right,
Yes,
okay, okay.
so yeah, so, cause
Okay.
I don't wanna leave anybody out if they're not here, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, that was kinda my thought.
Well, since we can add members even to the ones that we vote on tonight, I don't see any reason.
Well, the other two, if we add one more member, we're at capacity, right? Cause it's only can be 3?
Well, they would all rotate off.
Oh, so we have to vote on everybody again?
Yep. So
Oh,
you and Carol don't have a spot.
Oh,
As soon as
yeah.
we vote,
I think
y'all
we should
don't have a
wait.
spot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if we're missing 3 members, I think we should wait.
Y'all can extend for another month, acting on behalf of the group, but if we vote, you're starting fresh.
I
You're-
gotcha.
You're clearing the roster.
Yeah.
Is that a motionable thing, or is it just
So you
like?
can just table.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
table.
Do you want to table?
Do you guys agree with that? Just
Yeah.
because there's not, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, that's not fair.
Okay.
What was
Yeah.
it? Was it 5A?
Yes.
This table. Okay. Yeah, all right. And then we did all the art. Pretty exciting stuff.
And then 5F, discussion, consider action to place items on future parks and recreation agenda.
So now we know we're bringing subcommittee back.
Mhm.
So subcommittee appointments back. Is it dying? Is that what it is? We are. Plug it in. Can you see it? We also know that, or we believe there'll be Parkland Education next time. User fee update. So previously, user fees were updated through the budgetary process. So we would talk to y'all about user fees, but ultimately y'all had advisory say, but you didn't have final approval. Ultimately, we submitted our user fees in the budget, and it went through finance, and it went through FAB, it went through the Finance and Budget Committee, and they would hear it, make recommendations to council, and council would approve the fees when they adopted the budget at the end of the summer. Moving forward, if a user fee is submitted by a department that is governed by a citizen board, that citizen board makes all final recommendations in place of FAB. Is that right? Kelsey, am I saying that right? So these won't go to FAB. We'll bring the user fees that we want to update to y'all, which we would have done previously, but instead of y'all just giving like a thumbs up, thumbs down, here are thoughts, you'll be the recommendation that ultimately folds into the budget that will go to council for adoption. So when council's looking at a fee and it says, we've changed senior fees from $3 to $300 a month, you know, who did this? It's no longer FAB that approved it. It was staff recommended, Parks Commission approved. So we'll have those fees next month. And then part of wrapping up or starting to wrap up the master plan process is to have some visioning workshop dates. So we can talk to y'all where we're at, where we're going in the next 10 years. And we'll actually have the master plan folks here next time. Jason from Barry Dunn and whoever else he'll bring with them. We'll give you an update on the master plan process, where we're at, and the visioning workshop dates as well. So those 3 things, plus now we've got the subcommittee discussion. Do y'all have anything else you'd like to see?
Maybe, I know we were saying it was gonna be part of the master plan, but like an update on maybe like a timetable or something of when we can update the payment or like the, like parkland dedication fee. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, that will happen as part of the master plan
Yeah.
process. Yeah, we can give you an update on that.
More of just a question, I don't know if it's an agenda item, but could be. Just curious in the progress update of the downtown east and the, maybe where they're at in the process. I'm curious.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to say much about it, just say yes or no. I couldn't say much about it even if I did. I don't think I know a lot about where they're at in the progress. So I can see if there's something to update now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe just more like a future.
Future, yep.
I didn't know if there has been any kind of
I don't know
updates
how
on that.
far they are, but yeah, at some point there should be an update to y'all, and I'll make sure we have that on the schedule.
Like I know that they have the developer chosen and.
That is true.
And the architects
Yep.
chosen.
Yep,
It's funny, as I actually know the architect who's gonna be designing
the rec,
the rec center.
PRS?
Yeah, PRS? I thought it was,
Perkins will?
Perkins and Will.
No.
It's not Perkins and Will?
Perkins will might be doing something on the project, but they're not.
And then
doing
LPA is doing the city hall,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, update to downtown east, we can do that. If I don't think there's enough, I'll just include it in my director's report to
Okay.
say, this is what I know, but in the future, we'll make sure someone's here to actually give you an update.
Okay.
Anything else? Awesome.
All right. 6A, Director's update, including information about the Tree City USA staffing and winter storm updates.
So this is our Tree Care Advisory Board meeting, scheduled for last month, done once a quarter. We didn't really have a lot to say. We kicked it a month. So y'all had asked last time, I think it was Carol actually, but y'all had asked last time about a winter storm update. So Winter Storm Mara had significant ice accumulation, obviously, as everyone knows, caused a lot of damage, trees, power limbs, power lines, and we had huge, as if you drive by the MoCan, we had a huge debris collection area. In fact, if you're visual, you can see if they put it out at the football field, it would actually be taller than the tallest spot you can get to in our stadium out there at the field. So it was a huge amount of brush and limb and debris left over from the storm. The term Arborgeddon was coined by Texas Parks and Wildlife and Texas Forestry Service. And it was kind of, you hate to say a perfect storm because that gets thrown around a lot, but we had not completely recovered from Hurricane Uri. In fact, the direction from those two agencies at the time of Uri was give your trees, unless they've fallen or they're hackberries and you didn't like the canopy they provided anyway, or there was some sort of safety issue, leave them.
Mm-hmm.
Give them a full year. So we were supposed to give them, Uri happened in 2021, we were supposed to give them until summer of 2022 to really evaluate what that canopy looked like. We knew that our canopy would be reduced, that a tree that maybe gave you 100% cover might only give you 85% cover, and then you were supposed to evaluate at that time, is that 85% cover worth it? Would we cut that tree down and plant a new tree, or would we do some other form of maintenance to try to improve the canopy in a different way? So 2022 we were supposed to start to work on, and we put in our budget starting October 2022, so just last fall, the opportunity to assess and replace up to $100,000 worth of trees. Of course, this storm happened before we were able to pull the trigger on any of that. And so not only were some of our trees still trying to recover, but their canopy was brittle. They weren't as strong as they would have been. I think Mara would have done damage to us regardless, but if Uri hadn't happened 2 years earlier, a lot of us in the industry don't think we'd had near the limb damage that we had. And so it's one of those things, is 200-year storms coming in less than 2 years apart really damaged our tree canopy. And we don't know what that'll look like. We'll know this summer what this summer's growth looks like. We'll know next summer what the recovery from Mara looks like. And then we'll start to evaluate. We know we've got some trees already that we were concerned about from Uri. They didn't make it through Mara. And if you go out to Pfluger Park, you'll see sections where there is a beautiful tree that would have provided a lot of canopy. And this summer, I think there'll be a lot more sunburns in our park system than we had previously. So we still have that $100,000. We're looking to see what that looks like. Maybe it's not removable trees because juniors guys have spent months now removing trees. Maybe it's just seeing what we can get planted, with that funding as well. And so we're trying our best to keep up with and stay up to what the loss was. Ultimately we'd have loved to have grown the canopy. Now we're just trying to recover from any canopy loss that we feel like we had. Crews are still working on limb and damage and removal from the storm. Even right now, juniors guys are done with the words trees, limbs, storms. They have, PTSD as soon as you say something. Someone else called in about a limb. It's like, they want to get this behind them, and it's been hard for them because it's kicked them about 10 weeks behind, or almost 11 weeks behind now our peak season prep.
Everything
So
else, yeah.
all the trail improvements we'd have done, all the filling of mulches in the playgrounds, all the filling of the sand and all the sand volleyball courts and the beaches, all the things that they would have done, this prevented them from doing it. And it took us about 1.5 years to catch up from the last time that we were prevented from doing it. And so the guys worked really hard to get through this process. Like I said, I think we've got another week or two and we can say we've wrapped up Mara. But it makes our guys have to go into the peak season doing triage instead of being prepped ahead of time, which is frustrating for them as well. We had over 90 work orders specifically created and associated with the storm since February, resulting in almost $30,000+ to the city in staff time and equipment usage.
So that's all?
No, that's just our park side.
I know, well,
Yeah.
I find it hard to believe it was only 30,000 for parks even, I mean.
Yeah, so it's well, but the guys weren't doing anything else. So if we look at our sunk cost of 10 weeks behind,
so
we're
most,
actually,
okay, so most of what you spent was just redirecting
Yep.
existing staff time and,
Absolutely.
okay, I see,
Yeah.
right, okay.
There's no sunk costs in there, which
Okay.
would be another 10 weeks of what we would have been doing, plus,
Right, okay.
things we might not get to this summer, whether it's limbing of trees in areas that we would have limbed before the summer started.
Do we know what it costs the city overall?
No, although I think there is some PowerPoint getting ready for a council meeting in the future, and I can update y'all when I know more.
Just curious. Yeah, I walk a mile, dog walk almost every day. That's almost all in city, parks property. And
Yeah.
Oh, they came through and did the next priority
That's right.
cleanup.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. A couple of weeks later, oh, they came through again.
Well, and for us, even once it's all out of our parks, it's still in the creeks.
Oh, yeah.
And so,
I still think there's still stuff like, I wonder if they're gonna come pick this up, and it sounds like,
Yeah.
yes, and
Still
it's
working
not,
on
it's
it.
not hindering the trails, it's
Right.
off the trails, but it's still a mess, yeah.
yeah, I think to be honest, we're probably gonna have to look for some sort of creek cleanup vendor that's gonna help us clear some major stuff, because we're 10 or 11 weeks behind. It'd be tough to get started on the creeks now. Same thing for streets and right-of-way folks. They've been doing things as well. And so if we focused the same effort, time, and attention on creeks now, like we did our park system, we'd be 6 months behind. We'd miss a whole season. So it's been trying for sure. It's interesting that that's a 3-day storm that has impacted 10 or 12 work weeks for our guys for sure. So those couple-day storms can be pretty impactful. Another update we have for you, we have recently extended an offer, and he's accepted for our forester position. We'll have him here at the next meeting, and he'll be more involved with the Tree Care Advisory Board moving forward. We're super excited. Dave is coming to us from Allen, and has worked on tree crews and has been the crew leader of a tree crew for a long time, and had a lot of great ideas, had a lot of enthusiasm, and is from the Gerald area, so he has an opportunity to move his family back, and so I think it's going to be great for both parties. He's going to be focused on education outreach, assessing trees and the tree fund, managing the tree fund, working on programming and tree canopy initiatives. Obviously, will be heavily involved in Tree USA, which does the Arbor Day program, and our Tree Care Advisory Board, which is y'all. And that is all I have. This is discuss only, but if y'all had anything that y'all had questions on, as far as Tree Care Advisory Board, anything that y'all would want to see for the next meeting? Okay. Awesome. Thank y'all.
Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll set a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Motion passes, we are adjourned.
All right.